What is going on, everybody? I'm the financial conspirator, your guide for everything financials and conspiracies. We are back with another episode of recognizing the enemy. It's not reverse racism. I don't think I'm going to change that that title because that is really the recurring theme here. We're going to try to remind you every episode what we're fighting for, who the enemy is. And my guest, as always, Comey, thank you for joining me.
I'm glad to be here. Hello again.
Word, you know how we are, folks. Let's get right into business.
And most black people, are they righteous in your view? Most of the ones you've met?
All black people are righteous by nature.
Oh, okay.
This is learned behavior. These are the circumstances of 400 years of slavery, suffering, and death.
Mm-hmm.
These are 400 years of being manipulated and destroyed as a people. This is not the true nature of black people.
So the black people are righteous and the white people are devils.
Well, everything that is in the hands of black people to do evil with, white people put it in their hands. The guns you make, the drugs come in on trucks and trains and boats and planes. We don't even have a canoe.
Mm-hmm.
We're failing chemistry, most of us, because you didn't let us read for a long time. So we're not the ones making up all of these drugs.
Well, the one thing that we're not doing is we're not lighting the pipes and we're not injecting it into people's veins. There's a personal choice that you totally negate.
No, sir. There's no personal choice when you
no.
robbed me completely of a knowledge of myself and made me deaf, dumb, and blind.
Take away all responsibility for your
Took
own
it
life.
all away because for 400 years on the plantation, the slave had no responsibility.
We're going to live in the past
Slave is
forever.
conditioned. Well, that is according to the leading psychiatrists and psychologists. There's a carryover today in that psyche and that thinking. The problem is not with the crack, Mr. Hannity. The problem is with the cracker.
And what about the person that takes...
So the reason we brought this video up, or the reason we wanted to do this episode, is because there's a lot of anti-black woman rhetoric. I mean, of course, that's going to be going on, but this shit is extreme. How cowardice do you have to be to blame your sister, to blame your mother, to blame your daughter? Like, to blame them instead of the white man. You're blaming your fellow partner. Who do you think is going to teach your children when you're at work? Take care of your children when you're at work? Women, black women, are not your enemy. And if you have a problem with the way black women behave, the way black women act, then you need to get rid of the underlying cause, which is the white man. You're bashing black women online. How far has that gotten you? How happy are you? How much has your life changed? You can go ahead.
Yeah, this constant blaming of black women is ultimately coming from cowardice. So in this video, Handy's bringing up all these different issues. And these issues we all know about COINTELPRO. The COINTELPRO documents were leaked to the public. The CIA can't hide it. And there are almost certainly, not almost, there are certainly more to it. There are more documents about how the CIA was attacking the black population, especially in the U.S., but of course this extends to the black population outside of the U.S. We know they were attacking the population. We know their goal was individualism within the population. We know they wanted to poison the population. This isn't the first time people have waged war against China. This was done by the same Anglos that are doing it against the black population currently and have been doing it for many decades. They've been the main attackers of the black population. Anyone who has tried to bring stability to the black population, whether it be Malcolm X or even people who are trying to do it through peaceful means like MLK, Martin Luther King, people who are trying to rise democratically in Africa, like Sylvanus Olympio of Togo or Patrice Lumumba in Congo. It doesn't matter. Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso. Anyone who tries to bring stability to the black race, they feel the need to assassinate those people. And, you know, Sean Hannity is nothing but a puppet of the Anglos. Of course, the news stations are all owned by the CIA and the state of the U.S. We all know who these people work for. Now, jumping to the woman problem, this is obviously another extension of COINTELPRO. Put the men against the women, women against the men, break the family apart, divide and conquer. So this constant bashing of black women that we're seeing online is coming from cowardice. People don't want to deal with the real issue. What is it they're constantly talking about? They're talking about single motherhood. They're talking about the twerk in the media. They're talking about wigs. They're talking about what have you. Who is it that made it legal for women to divorce whenever they felt like it? It used to not be legal when MLK was around, and Malcolm X was around in the '60s in the black community. It wasn't legal to just divorce whenever you felt like it. Who made that legal? It wasn't a black man. It wasn't a black woman for sure. It was a white person. It was Ronald Reagan who made that legal. So if you're complaining about feminism, it wasn't black people who produced feminism. Who's promoting feminism and through which way? How are they promoting? How is it even reaching black women? Feminism reaches black women through the media that they own. They own the media that promotes it to them. Why can't we stop the media that promotes it to them? Because people don't want to focus on the white part of the problem. The whites are the ones who own the media, and they're the ones who promote it to black women anyway. So if you wanted to stop the issue, it has nothing to do with the bashing black women online. You would have to deal with the fact that it's whites who control the media, but it's much harder to deal with the real enemy than it is to just argue with women all day online and claim black women are the most evil thing in the world. If we're talking about no fault divorce, who made that legal? It was them. But if you want to deal with the problem really, you have to then acknowledge that it's the courts that you have to deal with. White owned courts that you have to deal with. White judges that you have to deal with. Black women don't run the courts. Black women don't run the media. Black women don't control the culture. Black women are influenced from their birth to their death by enemies. And quite frankly, the argument for race mixing and hating their own population, the black men that are doing this sort of nonsense, anyone who doesn't want to fight for their own liberty and their own community and their own stability should not be able to just profit from the enemy stability. So you don't want to fix the problem you have with your own female population, yet you want to run to white people's population. White women were raised by white men. White women, the way they are today, is due to white culture that was produced by men. White stability is produced from white nuclear bombs. So the idea of being a coward and running away from your own problems to go and buddy with your enemy who produced the problems to begin with and then hate your own population is entirely the way of broken, worthless people. And the righteous black men, the policy for righteous black men is to build the black community, to work with to create a healthy society for black women and raise all the new generations of black women up to be great people. There's plenty of black women that are just fine and that are great and that are looking to be good people to the people that will marry them in the future and so on and so forth. There is absolutely, we are not in a world where even that is impossible. So ultimately, our goal is to create the stability, to create the communities and homes and the safety necessary to keep good communities. We need our own media. We need our own nation ultimately so that we can direct where everything goes. So that whenever there is a drug dealer, we can imprison him and we're not waiting for some cracker to come use that drug dealer as an excuse to attack more blacks. That whenever there's rappers in the media promoting death and destruction to our population, we can execute these people, imprison these people. Any media companies promoting that to our population get the fucking death penalty. So that anyone trying to divide black men and black women gets a damn death penalty. That's what we need. And the reason why, I'll make it short, I'll end it here. The reason why these people don't want to acknowledge that reality is because, again, you have to fight for a nation. You have to sustain a nation. You have to fight to produce your own media. You have to fight to own your own courts. You have to fight to have enough defense to keep your community safe. And that's a lot of work for them. They're lazy fucks and they don't want to do it. And only the righteous men of the black race are open and looking to do that. So I'll end it there.
Yeah, and if you're sitting up here saying that there aren't any quote unquote good black women, you are quite literally reinforcing white stereotypes. You can't find a black woman that's not sexy red archetype. Yeah, sure thing. That's because you're attracting coonish behavior. That's like that excuse is so far out the window. There's like quite literally millions of single black women. They are the most unmarried race and gender black women. So that's a bullshit excuse right there. And then you said systemic reasons. Yes, there are systemic reasons, specifically in America, as to why women have this I'm an independent black woman stereotype. And can you guess who's at fault? Spoiler alert, it's not the black woman. The government was paying, giving free money to women who were single, mothers in single homes. If you had a father in the home, you did not get help from the government. So, again, you are a coward. You're blaming the black woman for the fault and the purposeful, willful destruction that the white man did. And to further that point, I've been harping on Sexy Red a lot. So I will say the problem is not Sexy Red. The problem is the label to which she's signed to. If we could control that, and if she was signed to a black record label, would she be acting the same way? Would she be promoting the same culture? And like you said, this is not the true nature of the black man and the black woman. You look at the black people in the 70s, where we're brother and sister, we're nodding at random black people in the street, we're shaking hands. I mean, we're having cookouts with families. There's a community. Your neighbor is your brother. Okay, that woman that's older than you, that's your auntie. That the little boy you see walking down the street, that's your nephew. You don't have to know who he is. He's your brother. You are a family. That's what we've lost, and that is not promoted by culture. When you look back in the 70s, you see movies like Superfly, The Mac. They're promoting positive black culture. What do we see now? What we have now is Sinners and Black Panther. That's about all we have. Everything else is Natalie Nunn, BET, Kai Cenat, Diaspora Wars. I mean, this is not us. It's never been us.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything else from the whites except to do so. And ultimately, I mean, they talk bad. I've recently been talking about this, actually. They talk bad about countries like North Korea. They talk bad about China. They talk bad about Russia and Iran. And typically what they're saying is that these countries are authoritarian. And the reality is, when you're in a world where there's Anglos trying to destabilize basically every country on planet Earth, cause civil wars, fund terrorists, fund division, fund different political parties to break nations apart, trying to fund color revolutions all around the world, you have no choice but to ban any media that's not unifying the people. Look at all the countries where America did get involved. There's all these separate parties. The color revolutions happen. The leader who was trying to fix things gets cooed by American puppets, so on and so forth. And I mean, the worst case scenario, a real case where we're seeing live right now, is people in China have absolutely no American propaganda facing them, whereas the Black American population faces the most propaganda on planet Earth from people who hate them. And just look at the stark differences. If that's not proof enough to tell you that Anglos cannot be allowed to have any sort of influence in your media, I don't know what does. I genuinely don't know what does. Which tells us that in the case where the black race succeeds, how we fix this. But where was I? The situation again. It's very clear that if you allow them any bit of entrance into your population and the psyche of your people, they're going to mass fucking poison them. So again, what I was saying was, in the good scenario where we succeed, again, we ban any sort of Anglo influence in our media. We straight up tear apart all the cultures they have produced, and we reproduce our own culture. We have all the justification in the world to be authoritarian. We don't have the room to be democratic. All the countries in the world that are surviving this Anglo force, this species of invasive animals, they're all authoritarian. They all keep their people united. They all keep their people in a common community, and they don't let people poison them. Because look what they're doing now. They're funding diaspora wars. They're funding these coons. I just saw a post the other day, or a Twitter space, where people were talking about how colonization was good. basically saying that the genocide of millions of people within the black race was a positive thing. I mean, we're talking about people who there is no Native Americans today. Most of us have not shaken hands with a single Native Americans in our entire life. Most of us have never had dinner with a single Native American in our entire life. Most of us have not been in a classroom with a Native American in our entire life. That entire people was genocided and erased from the planet with no mercy. How many times a day do we hear any crackers saying sorry about that? And these people are saying it was good that they almost did that to our race, but we happened to succeed and stop it. I mean, the West is just not something you can be merciful with. You have to be able to straight up rope to death every single traitor because they will infiltrate and they will have agents out to destroy you, advocating for them to do so. I hail China. I hail the CCP. I say good job to North Korea and Russia and Iran. All these countries that have done everything possible in their ability to stop Westerners from destroying their populations. Because if you don't, you know what happens? You have a 73% single motherhood rate. They turn your own female population against you. They put guns in your neighborhood and turn every single child into a killer. They poison the male population to try and make them inactive and ununified. That's what they do to you. So good on them, and I can't wait till we can join them.
Yeah, the people who think that we're just gonna like have a conversation and vote our way out of this. America doesn't have a conscience. You cannot have a conversation amicably and have them be like, "Hey, yeah, you know what? You're right. That was wrong. You guys do deserve something." It's never gonna be like that ever.
No, it's not. There is no democratic solution. I mean, yeah.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. And the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yes. We will kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever is necessary to see that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands out to put in the direction of our women. We respect them, but we want them to respect us. We think that the law should respect the Negro community. The law should protect the Negro community. The law should approach the Negro community with intelligence if it expects the Negro community to react intelligently.
If you have this aggression, this anger, and this hatred towards black women, how do you feel about white people? Or do you let them just push you off the sidewalk when they're walking by? Are you that angry at white people, or is it just black women?
It's just cowardice. I mean, it's simply cowardice. Yeah. Black women have a worse economic situation, in fact, than black men in the U.S. Black women are much smaller physically, and people see them as an easy target. I mean, so the idea that black women simply are not in power. They don't have enough power to be our enemies. They can't attack us. They can't shoot us. Typically, they can't. They're not invading our countries. They're not trying to coup d'etat our countries. They're not destabilizing nations. They're not poisoning us in the media. They're just doing what they can do, honestly. And I mean, this mercy does not go to race traitors. Obviously, any any race traitor is just automatically subhuman in my eyes. But outside of any race traitors, again, black women are just not some sort of demons. They are not capable of being that. So, I mean, I don't know. There's not much to say to those people. I think they know exactly what they are, honestly. I think much of these people know exactly what they are. I think they know they're cowards. I think they know that, who the real enemy is. They just want to attack something because they feel like it's easy. I don't even think it's something that needs to be explained to them. Maybe there's a portion, but outside of, unless you're really stupid, yeah, you're not you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what you're doing, and you just want to do it because it makes you feel good. Because there's no one else you can attack, so you just want to attack black women. And to those people, that's our race you're attacking. That's our race you're being a traitor to. And there's gonna be a day for you to get exactly what you deserve. So we see it in our interest to make sure that black women are well to do in the future.
Yeah, and they're the future. They're the genesis. Without them, we don't exist anymore. That's who your main focus is. Black women don't stick to black men. They be cheating on black men. Black women do this. Black women be putting me on child support. Like, bro, come on. This one right here.
Start right now. Let's forget the past. Notice this. When Jewish people remember the Holocaust and want the world to remember the Holocaust. Wait. Why do you want the world to remember? Because if the world does not remember, it is likely to repeat itself. And Jewish persons who suffered from the Holocaust want the world to remember this because the world turned its back while Jews were put in ovens. I, as a black person, want my people to remember what we have suffered and what we continue to suffer so that we will say like the Jews, never again. Never again.
So if you don't study how the government was basically promoting and encouraging black women to have this independent, strong black woman identity, how they were quite literally paying them monetarily, monthly, to have this ideology. And black women were taking the money, kicking the dude out or hiding his stuff, and then bringing the black man back into the home. They still held us down throughout that. So, I mean, you're still wrong. If all you're going to do is look at the negative and just be a pessimist, then what is your solution, my good man? You're going to start sleeping with white women? The solution will always be to love our people. The same way white people will forgive and promote whoever, no matter what this white person does, they're going to stand by him. Why can't we do that with our people besides the race mixers? I have absolutely no compassion for them. I want to make that same asterisk mark here. Race mixers do not get that same compassion, but you cannot hold a grudge against your baby mother forever. All right. You can't. You can't do that forever. You're 45 years old. You can't hate your baby moms forever, my guy. At some point, you're either going to grow out of it, you're going to face the wall.
Precisely. Hey, yeah, he made some excellent points. Um, his history has to be remembered. Compassion, like even this conversation we're having, it's more so a conversation for us. When we're to remember history, it's for us to remember, and we have to make sure that we pass that history on. We have to make sure that the lessons are learned. It's our job. That's called morality. That's called care. It's called community, and it's called humanity. That's what we have for our race, outside of race traders and race mixers. That's what we have for our race. And we should not expect anything good, really, basically, from our enemies. I mean, we should know that crackers want us destroyed. We should know that they want us to be destabilized. So when we're dealing with the world, we have to look at it kind of like heaven. There are gates and there are heavenly forces to destroy demons. If you want to have heaven, you still have to be strong. You still have to have legions of angels prepare to fight the demons. You still have to have the power of God, if you will, to destroy the enemies. You have to have the gates of heaven. You have to be able to put the demons in hell. You don't reason with demons. You reason with your fellow heaven citizens. We reason with people of our race that are also caring for our race. We have infinite compassion for those people. Outside of that, though, we should not expect anything from Caucasians. And that is why, again, it takes weapons of mass destruction, and so on to deal with Caucasians. I think the only way to deal with Caucasians is basically put a gun to their head and let them know that they're going to die if they fuck with us. Like, there's no reason. We're not going to talk to them out of this or something. We're not going to vote out of this. We have to be able to put a metaphoric gun to their head through obviously one gun is not going to work. I mean something bigger, such as weapons of mass destruction, the ability to destroy them, so on and so forth. We have to be able to put that to their damn head and say, if you fuck around, you're simply going to die. You're going to die. Millions of your children are going to die. Your mothers and your fathers are going to die. Your infrastructure is going to collapse. Your country is going to collapse. Don't fuck with us. Fuck off. That's how North Korea does it. That's how Russia does it. That's how China does it. That's how Pakistan does it. All the countries that are sovereign in the world have a fucking gun to these crackers' heads, because the crackers don't fuck off unless they have a gun to their head. Unless you have a weapon that's going to basically destroy every city they have them watching their children die of radiation death, them and their love for fucking puppies, all their puppies burning to death. Unless you have that, they're not going to fuck off. Simply put, the compassion that we have, memory of history, learning all this stuff, that's for us. That's our business, not for them.
Yeah, and a nation only rises as high as its woman. So if you see Dochi or these famous actresses saying things like, my biggest ick is a straight black man, or I'm not dating black American men anymore. Why? Like, no, why are they coming out to say these things out of the blue? Who's promoting them? Who's paying them? Who's telling them to say these things to promote the younger women into this degeneracy loop? So if you want to control a people, control its women. And you guys are just falling right into the ploy of, well, then that means it's the woman's fault. No, dude. It's the guy who's influencing her to be this way, who's paying her. People have handlers.
Precisely.
Start right now.
And that's part of what it means to be American to me, is to have all these things that you can do if you want to, that you don't have to do if you don't want to do. And there's a way in which American and white and human become synonyms. That why can't we just treat each other as human beings? To me, when I hear it from a white person, it means, why can't we all just pretend to be white people? I'll pretend you're a white person, and then you can pretend to be white. Why don't you eat what I eat? Why don't you drink what I drink? Why don't you think like I think? Why don't you feel like I feel? God damn it, I'm so sick and goddamn tired of hearing about that. I'm sick of that. That's what it means to be human being to me. That's what it means to be white. That's what it means to be American. Why don't you come the hell over here? That's what I hear every goddamn day. And you know that I can't come over there. You know that this kid, and that this hair, and that this way that I talk, and that I think and I feel will never, ever get included, because I'm unpalatable to this goddamn nation. I'm unpalatable. You cannot swallow me. You cannot taste me. You cannot feel me because you don't want to. You think that you can survive without me, but you can't, man. You think that, hey, it'll all be fine when we just treat each other like human beings. And what that says to me is, don't be yourself. Be like me. Keep me comfortable. Connect where I'm ready to connect. Come out to my place. Or maybe I'll come down and get some artifacts from your place. That is
I think that's it goes right to our point
Look at those
perfectly
crackers
because
staring.
I know, and they thought it was a
Yeah.
joke. They're laughing at first until that nigga got serious. They realized that shit wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
Tired of that shit.
Right.
And I mean, it goes right to our point. You want the black woman to act like a white woman. That's what you want. You don't really have a problem with the black woman. You're just embarrassed is because that's what that just dawned on me watching it that time. You want the black woman to stop being so loud and expressive. You want them to act docile like a white woman. That's really what the main issue here is. We want to be assimilated because our women aren't sophisticated enough. We act too loud, too ghetto. Man, you're just reinforcing the stereotypes, fighting the wrong enemy.
Interesting. You know, uh, the situation for black women around here is not good. They are not in a comfortable position, and they want change. They want things to get better, you know, as soon as possible. So, I mean, obviously they're not going to be happy, and they're going to express that oftentimes, and that's entirely reasonable. And the reason why Caucasian girls are like that is because they're in a different state. So everything that everyone's always saying, white girls are like this and that, like that, they're like that for a reason. Their society produced that. If black women were in a secure and safe place, and there's actually defense to make sure there wasn't constant attacks against them, they'd be calm and happy as well. They'd be these laughy type of girls as well. But they're just
Mm-hmm.
not in a place where they can do that. They have to be like this to some degree. Um, and I mean to the other points the guy made, basically, when Caucasians are saying things like they want people to just, you know, basically they're saying ignore it, ignore everything that's going on, and just act like everything's okay. It's like we're all the same, right? And this again, it goes back to the fact that the average white and the white elites are not really the same. Like there's white people in this country that genuinely don't get it. Like they genuinely think everything's just okay. They don't realize the troubles that the black race is facing. You know, and it's like, okay, all right. So this person is just lost. Okay, so be it. The only people who are aware are either the elites, the government, or people who are just the whites that are just smart enough to know what's really going on here. And then from that point on, they're either happy about it or they're not. Oftentimes the people who are not happy about it can't really do much about it, and even those who are happy about it oftentimes don't really have a say in the fact that if it's happening or not. So really, it's only the elites that are responsible. Those people in the CIA, the people who produced the COINTELPRO program, those are the people who are actually responsible. So most white people are absolutely oblivious to what's even going on here. So at the end of the day, once again, it's like I think these people are largely just unimportant to the in the grand scheme of things. Um, our fight is against those who do know what's going on. Our fight is stopping them, and the average white person is just sort of just there. That's what I see going on here.
Yep, and I think what he was specifically talking about, his point with being more human, that's something that we have to stop. We have to stop wanting to uh, succeed, quote unquote, with success being measured in European standards. Like you moving out of the hood, you made it, but the hood is still there. The cycle of the hood continues. So that crabs in a barrel. I made it. Shit, you pull yourself up by the bootstrap. Just work harder, nigga. That's not gonna continue. We're not doing that. But I think that was it, man. If you have anything else you want to add, you can go ahead.
Yeah, to the trader problem. These people, I think they know exactly these people who are sort of just capitalists. At the end of the day, they know that they are still under white power, and we are in a time where they're seeing that because it doesn't really matter how rich you are or how poor you are. I mean, we've seen multiple videos of like black people in these very wealthy, affluent neighborhoods facing the same troubles, and whites are making they don't want to build their own power. They're not sovereign. They don't have a black nation where they are the quote unquote elites at. These people are watching as their race is being destroyed, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you go to Prague, you're going to be the one black person there, and everyone looks at the black person as a fool. They think, what the hell is this person doing here? You go to like Paris, you think, what the hell is this black guy doing here? You go to any of these rich places, everyone's just discomforted by your presence because you didn't build any of that stuff. You didn't build the defense for this economy. In order for America to have the economy it has today, they had to build those nuclear weapons. You didn't build the nuclear weapons. You didn't build the chemical weapons. You didn't build the B-2 bombers. You just sort of want to take part in it. You just want them to allow you to have a bit of that wealth. So not understanding that you have to build. They don't want their own thing. They just want to be allowed in other people's stuff. So that job almost certainly is owned by a white company. So it's not your company. You're being allowed to work there. Okay, that stock is owned by a white person. You're being allowed to own some of it. That the car that you have wasn't built by a black company. You're being allowed to buy it. So these people, they're totally fine. They're cucks. That's just as simple as that. These people are cucks. They're fine with being sort of the pet of whites if they can be a little bit comfortable. And these people are ultimately traitors and useless to the end goal. Okay, like if we look at North and South Korea once again, South Korea, all these Asian countries, what are they but sex tourism land for a bunch of white Western men? They are sex tourism. And what does the West do? The West puts their fucking military bases all over them. The West controls their politics. The West gives them all this money, and in exchange, they have no sovereignty. They at any given time the US can invade those places. The US can coup d'etat anyone over there. At any given time, the US can regime change, destabilize, put up a color revolution in all those countries. And the US is just fine with that. Okay? Who does the US hate in Asia? It hates North Korea and Russia, and it tells us that those places are authoritarian and that they're backwards and that they're evil. Those are the countries where these Western Anglo rats can't go doing sex tourism at. It's where they can't go placing their military bases. All these white guys that are writing total nigger death on Twitter 1,000 times a day, okay, white nationalist people are all over these Asian countries. That's what they like. They're mad because they can't do that in North Korea. They're mad because they can't do it in China. That's why they hate China. That's why they hate North Korea. That's why they're constantly telling us those countries are backwards. They can go fuck themselves. The black race has to take the path of North Korea and China. We're not going to take the Western crap. We're going to build sovereignty. North Korea can never be fucking invaded. No matter how much these Anglos talk about it, they can never fucking invade it. I don't care if it's France. I don't care if it's the UK, Germany, whatever. None of these people can touch North Korea because North Korea can send missiles that'll have them fucking scraping their children off the floor like dust if they themselves can survive enough to do it. It'll have them looking at their cities like it's some hellscape from a video game. That's why they're mad at North Korea. They can never do any of that sort of crap they do in North Korea. That's why they hate them. And the black race has to take the same path. If we're getting called backwards and evil, we're doing the right fucking thing. If Westerners are loving you and being your best friends and saying you're good and you're cool, you're doing the wrong fucking thing. This black race needs nuclear bombs. It needs chemical weapons. It needs biological weapons. It needs all the deterrence that can be built. It needs a strong government. It needs control over its own media. It needs control over its own food. We need to have our own riches. We need to have our own vehicles, building our own homes, our own farming, and everything else. We should depend not at all on fucking people who hate our guts. There should not be a single military base from our enemies on our land, and every traitor that disagrees with that needs to go. I'll end there.
Absolutely. And if you agree with any of the points made, make sure you leave a like. And if you disagree, comment down below. Share this video with someone you think should hear it. Call me, where can the people find you?
If you're looking out for me, my name is Comey Gannon, as it's spelled out here. That's me on every single platform, except what is it? YouTube. On YouTube, search up Zamentist Consortium, or just search Zaments, and you will find me. If you are looking to join other black men that are like us, you can join our organization at ZamentistConsortium.com. All the links are on all my the link is on all my Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and everything else. So that's it.
Hey, salute to the rebels, man. I'm out here. I'm in these streets. You look up, you get up, and don't ever give up.